It should come as no surprise to regular viewers of our channel that we at TTV are pretty big gamers. And when you love games and you love Bionicle, it was basically a matter of time before we counted them down. My name is Kahi and welcome to the top 10 Bionicle games. Number 10, Matura Adventures. This early Game Boy game was a platformer set during the original Borak saga in 2002. You played as one of the 6 original Matoran who would eventually become the Toa and Nika, fighting enemies and solving puzzles in order to defeat the Barog and win the game. While the ending is decisively not canon, the game does at least offer some variety above some of the more arcade-like online games that followed Bionicle post-2006. Number 9, Massive Creation. While a simple tap-to-attack beat-em-up app, the 2015 game does sport some very nifty 3D graphics and some pretty environments. Although maybe not the game every fan was hoping for, the arcade feel and the mobile accessibility makes this one of the more notable Bionicle games so far. It launched alongside the new sets and marks the first Bionicle game to be ever featured on smartphone devices. Number 8, Bionicle Big Game. Originally released in 2003, Bionicle the Game was the first Bionicle game released for consoles and the PC. While not necessarily a classic of an age gone by, Bionicle the Game does do well enough for the quality of licensed games at the time. An action-adventure platformer at the height of action-adventure platformers, it features all 7 Toa as playable characters fighting the enemies that the island had to throw at them. Number 7, the Victorian Arena series. A one-on-one fighter, Victorian Arena was an unexpected but welcome addition to the Bionicle game family. While it only supported local multiplayer, the game surprised many by having a decently robust combat system, multiple arenas, and a small attempt at world building through the arena market. Though 2009 could have benefited from some more visual variety, this game does manage to strike home as a free, fun-to-play fighter. Number 6, Bionicle Heroes. Third-person adventure shooter Bionicle Heroes takes 6th place on our list. While it does take a lot of liberties of its story and the interpretation of 2006's storyline, including the infamous inclusion of Axon as a villain, Bionicle Heroes was a step up from the previous console release, Bionicle the Game. Taking elements from the newly popular TT Games formula, Bionicle Heroes is a bit more refined than its predecessor. While most ports are lesser quality than their console release, the port of the game for the Nintendo DS is actually significantly more entertaining. The port emulates a Metroid Prime Hunter style in terms of playstyle and combat. The 2D ports for Game Boy and mobile were a little less entertaining. But even still, Bionicle Heroes does have enough merits to earn a spot on this list. Number 5, Voya Nui online game. A tactical role-playing game might not have been what many were expecting from Bionicle's online games, but the actual game itself boasts quite the repertoire of items, enemies, and mechanics. The story and world building does leave some left to be desired, but it does give the island of Voya Nui a voice for its other non-volcano based locations, that the rest of the promotional material for 2006 kinda lacked. Number 4, Quest for the Toa. The Nintendo Game Boy adventure game, Quest for the Toa, was originally named Tales of the Tohunga before the Maori lawsuit made LEGO hastily change the title. An adventure game starring Takua, the game is uniquely the only piece of visual media that follows Takua's quest before waking up on the beach in Minogue 1. In it, Takua is tasked with gathering all the 6 Toa stones from the kidnapped Turaga, so that he can summon the Toa Mata. A fun, isometric adventure with plenty of minigames, the Quest of the Toa is an enjoyable trek for such an early piece of Bionicle history. Number 3, Mask of Shadows. Mask of Shadows probably stays the most true to the traditional RPG genre. Adapting the storyline of the chapter book of the same name, the game had the Toa Metru traveling back to Matura Nui to rescue the rest of the Matoran left there. The game featured all 6 of the Toa Metru and allowed you to switch between them at will, both in the overworld and when facing enemies in combat. The turn-based combat allowed you to use both their elemental powers and mask powers to take down all the threats you would expect would emerge from the Great Cataclysm. For a Game Boy game, this game was actually pretty fun, and it did lend some visual context to a part of the story that was largely left unfounded. Outside of the books, you really didn't know about the Toa Metru's journey, but you could see it all if you played this game for the Game Boy Advance. Number 2, the Matura Nui online game. The quintessential Bionicle experience lies in the Matura Nui online game. From the music to the art style to the general atmosphere, this game nails everything Bionicle was about. Following Takua, again, through request from the Toa, this game was one of the first real tangible bits of Bionicle's story we ever got. The entirety of 2001 was delivered to us through this game, and it does a masterful job. It's a flash-based episodic adventure game, which they did nearly a decade before Telltale popularized the format. The Matura Nui online game shows just how much Bionicle can shine when given the proper amount of creative freedom. Sure, it's just a point-and-click adventure game, but it made the Bionicle world feel real for the first time. It truly remains one of the pinnacles of LEGO's interactive media. And the number one spot goes to the Matura Nui Online Game 2. This was a hotly contested opinion, and one that garnered a lot of controversy within TTV itself, let alone the fanbase at large. But personally, I feel where Nog gave you a snapshot of the world, Nog 2 gave you a grand tour. This game solidified the Bionicle world as a living, breathing place. It was a testament to Matura Nui and Maturan culture, showing you the jobs the Maturan had, how they all contributed to production, the differing economies in the villages, the different prices for different stores in different villages for items. They had customs and traditions of the Maturan, it had sports and leisure activities, it had a ton of just random NPC Maturan that just contributed to the overall sense that you're living in a breathing, real world. It's one of the most ambitious Flash games that LEGO ever put into production. Now, I know, the game isn't always perfect, and the mechanics, while really ambitious, do sometimes tend to err a bit on the grinding side. But the scope of this game cannot be contested, and it uses its medium in the fullest in a way that no other medium could do for Bionicle. When your franchise includes movies, comics, books, and music, you can't really ask more for a product than to do just that. And to top it off, it was free for anybody to experience on LEGO's website. So what do you guys think? Comments, concerns, scathing rebuttals? Leave your own top 10 list in the comments below, or continue discussion on our message boards at boards.ttvpodcast.com. And as always, you can catch our content on Vessel a week early as a paid subscriber at vessel.com/the TTV channel. This has been Kahi, and thanks for watching.